Almost 2,000 years ago, a group of people in feudal Japan found themselves pushed further and further away from the mainstream of society as they refused to give up their spiritual beliefs to the imposed conformity of the ruling class. The ruling power made it illegal for common people to carry or own the deadliest weapon of the time, a finely edged sword. So these people had to learn to defend themselves in different ways, to walk the path of their own chosen desire, and to blend in so as not to attract attention. They learned survival skills so unsurpassed that the name ninja became feared by all who heard it. But the primary concern, then as now, was to live and to let live in peace and harmony so that all mankind can reach their own levels of heightened enlightenment. This black belt home study course is designed to set you on the path. Nenpo will give you the power to overcome life's obstacles by coming out on top. And the skills you will learn in this series will give you the flexibility to roll with life's everyday punches, the courage to climb above life's obstacles. Only your own discipline and perseverance can carry you through to the finish, your goal of receiving a black belt and all that it stands for. And view life from a different perspective from that uncluttered height. And what the insights that you've gained will help you to slice through all the things that are holding you back from being all that you can be. You may find that instead of being caught up in fights that don't concern you, you can just hang out and observe. Unless, of course, you need to take action, and then who knows? You may be so dazzling they don't even know what hit them. We will study from the traditional schools of Kumigakureru, Kotoru, Tagakureru, Gyokushinru, Gikanru, Gyokuru, Tagagi-Yoshinru, Shinden Fururu, Kuki Shinden Rus of Grandmaster Masaaki Hatsumi of the Bujinkan system. I am proud to present this black belt home study course. The basic postures of 8th kyu are Hoko no Kamae, Doko no Kamae, and Jumonji no Kamae. Each of these postures are used in different kinds of attacks and defenses. They are basic in form. They are not static positions that you would begin an attack or a defense with, but they are transitory positions inside each kind of movement. So please look at the foot position and hand positions of Hoko no Kamae, Doko no Kamae, and Jumonji no Kamae. Basic posture of Hoko no Kamae. Some basic movements. And clear weapons, attacks out of the way, up and down. Notice that the whole body moves. Clearing kicks out of the way. Basic movement of Hoko no Kamae. Basic posture, Doko no Kamae. Shuto to the neck. Each side. Basic ski. Very nice. Basic postures of Doko no Kamae. Basic posture, Jumonji no Kamae. Striking to the wrist, or small attacks to the body. Going into a shuto. Downward blocks, ski. As you can tell, the Jumonji is basic blocking, striking, and knocking away different attacks. Basic posture of Jumonji no Kamae.
Now we're going to do some of the basic rolls for 8th kyu, some of the ground falling techniques. We're going to start with Yoko Nagare Ukemi. This is very similar to the Koho Ukemi that we did earlier. Sliding the leg out, and just rolling your body along the ground. This can be done, say you have an opponent and he's grabbing you, just kick a leg out as you go down. Later on, you'll learn how to complete a roll out of this technique. This is Yoko Nagare Ukemi, or side break fall. Next is Zenpo Kaiten. Very similar to the Zenpo Kaiten we did earlier, although this time we're only going to use one hand. Placing the one hand on the ground, rolling yourself over, rolling straight down the spine. This can be done for techniques where you have a weapon in your hand, or maybe an opponent has taken your hand and he's throwing you in some manner. Also, we do oten, or cartwheels. Now, this can be done one of two ways. Done in order of placing your hand once, second hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, or placing both hands on the ground at the same time. First way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second way. This can be used as an evasion technique or in a defense against an attack of some sort. Next, we will cover some aspects of Daken Taijutsu, ability to use your limbs for striking and for blocking. The first thing I want to teach you is Kitan Ken, or also known as Shuto. We're going to do the Emote Shuto, and I'm going to teach you this basically from Ichimonji no Kamae. The basic form of this is that I would have my hand in a Fudoken. And from the position of the Fudoken, I'm going to take and bring my hand up to approximately 2 inches from my forehead. As I'm sliding in with my foot, I will turn my hand over and then open my hand at the last point. Showing you this from a side view, from Ichimonji no Kamae. As I start moving forward, my hand comes into a fist, raises up near my forehead. As I slide myself forward, it starts turning over, rotates over. At the last moment of impact, my hand opens up. Showing you a couple of them. Extending my body. The next form of Daken Taijutsu that we're going to learn is Jodan Uke, or upper blocking, upper striking techniques. From Jodan Uke, basically I would begin in Ichimonji no Kamae. From Ichimonji no Kamae, I would step out with one leg at a slight angle. My hand turns over, rotates down. As I rock back with my body, I come back in this circle, hitting with the fist. Once more, I step out as my hand drops out. Notice I'm using my whole body for this rocking motion. Comes back, strikes the wrist. I'll show you and demonstrate against the partner in just a moment. But basically I'm here. That's the basic form. There's also a form where you have a rotation in your hand. 2 different forms. Basically for HQ, I primarily want you to learn to fall back and learn to take your opponent off balance. Then forward. From a stationary position of already being in Ichimonji. Primarily wanting to learn to step out a little, rocking out of the way of the attack, coming back to strike. Jodan Uke. Now next, if I have a partner, you see the dynamics of this particular attack. As they attack from Ichimonji and I begin in the Shizen no Kamae posture, I want to fall back. Falling back. Notice how I change the whole dynamics of the weight of my attacker. I also want to go out to the other side. Hand comes back. This also protects in case a kick is coming. In case a kick is coming. Falling back, I'm doing this protection into the arm. Doing this rotational hits. I'm striking once, maybe striking twice. So that later on I'm here, here, and we can get into some other applications. From the other side, you want to go back at a 45-degree angle. I want to fall back, falling back, rocking in with my body. I can also take this very easily. Control it. Okay. Jodan Uke. I'm doing this slow, taking time in between, but in actuality I want to match his speed. So I want to be hitting him right at the time that he thinks he's going to hit me. Right as he thinks his attack is going to be hitting me, I'm going to be hitting him. So he's going to be less apprehensive about me doing something else. As you'll later learn to take these techniques to. You notice his feet dancing? Hey, here's a posture that you already learned. Very nice. And some new ones that you will learn. Aspects of, thank you, sir, of Jodan Uke. Next, Gedan Uke. Lower attacks against lower blocking attacks. Starting in Shizen, falling back, blocking low. Notice that I'm keeping my other hand up for protection or ability to punch. Going towards camera, lower block. These can be done straight back, or they can be back 45-degree angles. Can be done for lots of different postures. Lots of different aspects. Now what I'd like to demonstrate is Gedan Uke, or the lower blocks against kicks or keteris, especially to the midsection. As these kicks come in, I'm falling back at an angle, catching the kick. I'm stepping off to the side on purpose because I've evaded this kick. But in doing so, I want to be able to do an attack on this kick. I would actually be punching into the leg. So we see the other side, going back this side. I'm actually striking right into the leg. So this kick comes in right into my gut. I want to catch that timing. Right when he thinks he's going to be hitting me, it turns his body, which is very easy. Turn, step down, whatever it is that I need to do. Once more, you want to practice inside and outside of these techniques. Here, make sure this hand's up, because this hand may come. So I want to keep my hands up so I can use them instead of having them used against me. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sanshin no Kata. There are 5 forms of the Sanshin no Kata. Earth, water, fire, air, and the void, which is a combination of all the other elements. Sanshin no Kata, 8Q technique, is Sui no Kata, or the water form. A part of the whole Kihon Happo is Sui no Kata, or also known as the water form. In Sui no Kata, you begin in a natural Shizen no Kamae posture. Remember, the Shizen no Kamae is the body is straight up and down, fully erect, that your knees are slightly bent, hands resting naturally at your side. In a natural posture and natural position. The beginning basic of this is I just slide back with my right leg and bring my left hand up. And my right hand forms into a fist at my hip. So this all forms and flows in a very natural position into this form. So I'm just naturally falling back. Just almost like a dance, flowing back. The next form of this is that this hand rotates, I do a block. But at the same time, this hand will float up into this position, fist and a half distance, as we're just practicing the Mote Shuto. I slide forward and finish with my Mote Shuto as my forward hand, the left hand, comes back and rests at the hip, the same position that the right hand used to be in. So the basic form of this, again, shown in a forward direction, is that basic Shizen no Kamae. I float back, leaving my left hand up. I do this rotational strike, so I'm striking and rotating, hitting the wrist. This hand floats up. I'm doing this step by step, and I'll show you the full flow in just a moment. 2 inches above the head, comes out straight into the neck or collarbone of your attacker. So, in a more truer sense of the form, is I would float back and finish the form with full flow. We begin piece by piece, and then we learn to put this together into a full form. We show you this also from a from a side view, basically flowing back. Hands natural, flowing back, rotate hitting, and floats up, steps in, Shuto. Standing natural, flowing back, in more of a flowing form. So it comes here, it's the basic form of the Sanshin no Kata. Bowing first to each other. Back in Ichimonji no Kamae, you're about to watch Ichimonji no Kata as one person skis. Falling back, striking the wrist, a Mote Shuto to the shoulder. Once more to the neck. Then more now at a realistic pace. Very good. Once more. Okay, fine. Ichimonji no Kata. Shown also from another angle. Next form of the Kihon Happo is a Mote Gyaku, done with a partner, or also known as an uke. My partner, as we're both standing in Shizen, my partner comes up and reaches with a one-handed chest grab, grabbing a hold of my lapel. The first basic position, the thing that I want to do, is that I want to place a guard. I want to guard because my opponent will have the ability to jerk me up, try to throw me, this kind of thing, out of my posture or stance. He may be trying to do that anyway, so that as I have this guard, if he pulls back, that I have the ability to do things like taking the hand off, or utilizing the hand on the body itself, as we're going to show you in just a moment. Is this hand, of course, this is a worst case scenario. I do not want to let my opponent come up and just grab a hold of, my gi. So I probably would do this a mote gyaku, as I'm just going to teach you, without the full grab. This teaches a beginning student like yourself some very important things. One is that to be able to feel this other person's intention. Another thing is that when I step back, I can feel myself taking my opponent off balance. This is my main intent, is to take his body off balance. Because normally what he probably is going to do in this situation is probably pull back. And as he pulls back, I'm going to slide this other hand up, lifting the hands up, making sure that my arms are in a fully extended position. I do a throw by turning his wrist this way. Notice that his body moves as I turn the wrist. But my throw is actually with my leg, not with my hands. As I step back with this leg, that it naturally takes my opponent to the ground. I also still have the hand. Shown now with the left hand, that as I come up, I want to do this guard. And as this guard is shown closely, that I do not cover the hand. I basically have the hand here so I can be able to push this away with on my opponent. That as I step back, the other hand floats up. So it comes up underneath, pushing off. I'm rotating so that my thumb goes over to this finger. The other hand will go with the thumbs straight across. My fingers embed in this position so I can get a good hold of the wrist. So that when I twist this wrist, the body goes down. And I can have effects on his body by just holding and gripping, as you see his body moving all over. And all I'm doing is just holding the hands. It's known as a mote gyaku. Let's take this wrist, turn it to the outside. It's very, very important for the uke, person receiving this at a beginning level, because a lot of the beginning levels of 8Q, 9Q is being an uke. Instead of tensing this up, which can do damage, you want to relax this wrist so that it bends, so it can naturally go to the ground. The more that the uke actually tries to tense up, the more that actually the wrist is going to be damaged. So once more, fully through. Basic Shisen no Kamae. Hand comes up and guards. I fall back at a 45-degree angle. The other hand comes up underneath, pushing as the other one pushes away. I naturally want to learn to have my hand rotate into this position of a mote gyaku. Now it's very easy to throw by just stepping back with my leg, not with my arms, but my leg. So now my body is in a position to where I can do different kinds of controls on my opponent. Mote gyaku. Thank you, sir. Next, the very next technique that I like to teach is from the Kihon Happo, is ura gyaku. This is reversed in the opposite way. So if attacker comes up and grabs the hold, that I'm going to be going out, falling back at the opposite. Now there are some advanced forms of this. What I'm showing you is the basic level that we teach in our dojo. The reason why I teach the basic form from Ninjutsu this way is I want to learn the beginning person to learn to take this person off balance. We begin by learning to take the body balances. Then we learn to take the mind balances as we progress, and then we learn to take the spirit balances. Then we learn to take all of those and change them and intermix them in the midst of our techniques. So I also will begin with a cover. My hand comes up, covers the hand. This time as I fall back, my other hand comes up. It could rake across a person's eyes. It could do things where it's attacking into the arm or covering this other arm. I want to lay this hand on top of the other arm, reaching over, grabbing the meat of the hand. Pushing straight out. Notice how it torques and changes on his body. I still get in the same hand position. Again, I throw with my legs. If he rolls, I can come back to the other position and put my knee on his arm to hold him in pain. Done with this side, Again, I will start with a guard. I will fall back at a 45-degree angle, having my other hand up. I have all kinds of possibilities here that change or affect his body. I'm falling back across, giving blocking. I'm grabbing the hand, still keeping here, turning, keeping my hands close together as I push out. Notice as I push out, it affects the way his body moves, pushes his body away from me, allows me lots of other kinds of possibilities. The throw with this is stepping back the leg itself and down, coming back to some kind of pin or hold. Once more, all the way through, I'm falling back. Gyaku. Once more from the other side. Person grabs, coming across, coming up. More advanced form. The hands come in and cross, with both thumbs crossing primarily. Grabbing, twisting. The real attack is on the wrist itself, but I want to have either both thumbs crossing, or both thumbs can be into pressure points on this person's hand. It's very important to me that I get my thumb all the way across because it will end up giving me leverage on the wrist when I actually twist the wrist. Such as having this here, in this position, with the wrist, is enough just with one hand to take the person down. Stand back up, we need to get that again. Close up, and we're going to be taking the person down. Closer up.
Okay.
As I reach across here, it's very important for me to have my thumb straight across. Because with the thumb in this position, I can turn and take the person down even with just one thumb. This hand can immediately come down in this position if I need two hands in order to hold this hand. The next form that I'd like to teach you is Tehodoki. Tehodoki is escapes from wrist grabs and arm grabs. So I may have okay. The person reaches up and they grab a hold of your wrist. I just want you to step and put your knee directly underneath this hand position. It's a little soft step. I also want you to spread the fingers out. All I want you to do is turn your hand so that it's in a flat position. Step to the person's side. Grabbing from the other side. So this person grabs, I want you to notice the reason why we do this is that the weakest point is between this thumb and this finger. As you look at the hand, there's a whole lot of meat on the other part of the hand. So if I may be removing this, I want to remove at the weakest point. Also, you notice the fat of my own hand. So that's why when I turn my hand, I also come to the thinnest point of my hand, to the thinnest point of his hold. So as a person grabs here, that's why I want to turn my hand this way. Putting my knee in here gives me leverage. So that as I turn, and all I do is just turn with my body, this hand comes out naturally and free. I want to be to the side, I want to be able to look to this person. I want to keep my elbow or a touch or stepping on this person's foot, because that tells me what this person can do. If he starts to do an attack, it can be right in his face. I also have a check on his body, so I can do other things. Basic Tehodoki form. Person grabs, knee, and just steps underneath, spreading the fingers out, turning to the side. No power. You want to relax. You don't need to jerk. It's just right here. Basic form. Very easy. Take this person down. Basic form number 1 of Tehodoki. Next form of Tehodoki. The person comes with a one hand grab the same. This is very simple. You just reach underneath and take a hold of your other hand. Step back. Rock back in. Make a strike to their face. The same for the basic grab. My hands come here. They just turn out as I fall back. Come back with a strike to the throat or to the face. So on the other side, works the same way. Basically, as I fall back, I use my hands, but it's my body that does this. It's not my hands pulling, it's my feet that are doing this. I'm just rocking in. Begin striking to the body. Okay, basic form. Thank you, sir. Next form of Teiho Doki is person grabs a hold. You need to know at least 4 of these. There's many, 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 many. For your 8th cue, you need to do 4 different variations. As a person grabs, they're grabbing me, so I just want to rotate this and grab them. Take and place my hand on top of their hand, turn, and down they go. Rotates over, turning, grabbing his arm. My hand comes on top of his hand. And it's very easy for me to just drop with my knee, and down he goes. I'm using my whole body in this. This is a very, very basic form. Comes over here, down. The other side. I think it works on the other side too. That's why we practice on each side. Just to check. Whoops. Here. Down. Showed you the next one that I'm going to be teaching in just a moment. Rolls this way, hand comes on the top. Right over the top, down. Watching the feet. The next form of Teiho Doki is what I call an over the top. Basic form, the hand just floats over, and I'm in the same position as his hand. It's very easy just to take him down. Primarily though, I want the fingers covering exactly over his fingers, so that as I do this, he cannot pull his arm out. Stuck for some reason. So also the fingers are pinned there. He's down. So here, I could use as a step with my body. Hands covering and down. Very basic, it's just rotating this over. You can do this in a large circle. Primarily, I want this done in a small circle. You have lots and lots of control here. Okay. You do also want you to try it where you step out, take this down. So, in thinking on this, that you need to know at least 4. The basic one and the first one that I showed you is just pulling the hand out is one form. But I want you to learn to turn the body. Side, turning the body. Primarily I would turn all the way to the side, but I don't really need to as we get into higher ranking things. Turning over, twisting, taking down. Turning over this way, down. Also from here, stepping straight back, coming in with a strike. Lots of other kinds of advanced forms right into the hand grab. Looks the same, but it's just a little bit different. Okay? So there's lots of forms of this. It's one of my favorites. Okay, this comes here. Now I got his. Okay, so you need to know at least 4 different variations out of the things that I just showed for Teiho Doki. Each and every cue of this American Bujinkan Dojo's Black Belt Home Study course in Ninjutsu has at least one weapon that is associated with it. The 9th cue weapon was your body, learning to use your body to deliver strikes and blows. The weapon for 8th cue is a hanbo. It's a 3-foot wooden staff, approximately inch to an inch and a half in diameter. The diameter of the hanbo will actually depend for people on the thickness of their own hands. You want to think about this hanbo as a flexible weapon, not just something that's hard, because it has the ability to grapple around different joints. You also want to be able to freely flow and associate with this and move it in all kinds of different kinds of ways whether that be hard ways or really flexible in nature. Let's begin with some techniques of different kamais of Hanbo.
Hira no kamai. Hira ichimonji no kamai. Hira ichimonji no kamai. Munin muso. Hira no kamai. Munin muso. Hira no kamai. Hira ichimonji no kamai.
You want to learn to use the length of this weapon to be able to slide your hands on the weapon freely as the weapon moves in your hand. You want to think about this hard weapon as something that's flexible in nature, an ability to have it to be able to move very fluidly in a person's hands for whatever it is that you want to do. It's used in lots of different kinds of strikes, attacks, and defenses. It's a weapon that can naturally be found, or something like it, laying around on the street, whether it's a tree branch or a broom branch or something. So we start with a short weapon that can be easily found for somebody to practice or use in some kind of fighting altercation situation. Basic strikes from your beginning in your natural Hira ichimonji posture is that I would step back and come out with one hand. Very, very simplified. Coming here, stepping back, letting one hand go, striking, say, to the head. It's a very, very, very basic form. Of course, I want unification as my foot and as the weapon's already moving, ending at the same time my foot's ending. So I'm stepping back in this posture, letting loose, hitting with the other. This is a very, very basic form. It becomes more quick, more of a flash as you progress in your learning to use attacks with your Hanbo. From Hira no kamai, basic posture, that I want to step and slide forward in these attacks. If I'm sliding forward, my hand slides on the weapon. Practicing going out at a 45-degree angle. Practicing going straight. I want the alignment of my weapon to be very, very straight at my target. Kind of looks somewhat similar, doesn't it? Also, these strikes can go low. Notice I'm using all of my body in connection here. Also, strikes from here is over the top and down. Over the top and down. The use of a weapon in our ranking system is a very important in the amount of grading that we do on each weapon, is your ability to use this weapon. From underneath, sliding up underneath and raising. Coming underneath. Basic posture. From basic posture, Munin Muso. From basic posture, Munin Muso, I want to be really natural, relaxed at this. Step out, bing, just a little, whoop. Step back, step forward. I'm only leaving my other hand down just to show you so it doesn't get in the way of the weapon, but I would actually, of your learning how the weapon works. Just natural Very quick, very fast. Just bing. These can also come over the top. These can also come to the side. Or in a figure eight. Boom, boom. Whack to the leg, whack to the leg. Smack to the head, the head. Basic postures, Muna and Miso. Now let's take a look at how you could utilize using this weapon against an attacker. First, an empty-handed attacker. Maybe this person's coming in with a punch. Just moves this out of the way. Comes in with a double hand grab. Can come up, down. Once more, double hand grab. Just push these hands away. Come in, trap. Maybe against another kind of like a circular street type punch. Stops your hand. Trap. Maybe against a kick. Stops here easily. Thank you, sir. Maybe against a knife attack. First, a very slow knife attack. The knife comes, just here, just right here. It's broken. Smack. Or right to the head. You're not going to be standing up if you do these kind of things as a quick attack here, right into the leg. Smashing the knee joint. They're going to go down without the kick. From a basic Hira position, he's also come down with a okay. Knife generally will go away. It's very easy kicking. These things finishing off your attacker. Moving out of the way, taking the leg. Sure. Maybe against a sword. Hey. Sword cut comes. Same. Here, smacking here. By the way, this is a live sword. Okay? Hi, just from this position. Same kind of item. Even in a natural cane position, maybe someday you're going to be old. Naturally walking down the street. I don't know when a person's going to attack you with a sword, but you're naturally walking. This could clear right over the top. Clear right back to the head. Into the body. Hopefully they left you with a very, very nice sword to take home. Thank you very much. This gives you some ideas of usefulness and effectiveness of this little hanbo. There are many, many, many more aspects that I want you to explore and to try out on your own. Experiment. I want you to think about every weapon that you have as a part of your own self, something that's natural. Natural to your feeling, natural to your feeling the weapon. so that it blends in with you. I highly, highly recommend that you take this weapon and each weapon that you practice with and spend time with it. Maybe taking walks every day, which is part of the ranking requirements. 30 minutes a day, minimum. It does a lot of things for you, as well as build endurance, stamina, and allow your mind to start gathering different kinds of awarenesses about your neighborhood, about how you interact with the world, how you move in the world, and how you can actually move and the whole world moves. The deeper aspects of ninjutsu, but it's time now in your training to begin to learn these special qualities. I highly suggest that you even sleep with your weapon for a while. Now, maybe your spouse or your friends may not think that that's real cool, but if you can try these kind of things, learn to pick things up naturally, to use them, use your weapon in every kind of natural position and posture as possible, natural in life. You want your martial arts and you want your life to be something natural. You want your martial arts to be something that gives you a sense of feeling, of security, of confidence, of the abilities to live your life to the absolute fullest, to know that what's possible, to build flexibilities inside your mind, inside your body, inside your spirit. Because you truly can live the life that you truly want and desire to live. And it's up to you to create this life for yourself. We teach you to take responsibility for your own life. Teach you to take responsibility for the actions that you do with other people and learn how to interact with them. That's why these aspects of this training have transformed many, many thousands and thousands of people's lives. And why not you? Why not you? And I know that you're wanting it, so reach out to the stars and grab them and take them home with you. This is part of our training. It's part of the essence of Ninpo. It's higher and much more valuable than any of the physical skills. The physical skills will help you get these things in your life. So let's go for it. Let's go on now to 7th kyu.
One of the things that you're going to have to be familiar with in training in our art are some common dojo phrases in Japanese. The first being Shiken Haramitsu Dai Komyo. That's Shiken Haramitsu Dai Komyo. Roughly translated, it means, let every encounter bring me to my highest good. And it's the phrase used when bowing in. Shiken Haramitsu Dai Komyo. Onegai shimasu means please assist me, and it's also used in the bowing in. When the instructor turns to the class, he says onegai shimasu, and the class responds back, onegai shimasu, meaning the class and the instructor are both assisting each other in the training. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you. Shihan is a master instructor. Shidoshi is a fully licensed instructor. Shidoshi Ho is a junior licensed instructor. Sensei means instructor or teacher, and is the phrase that you should use when speaking with your instructor. Out of respect, call your teacher sensei. Gomen nasai. Gomen nasai. It means excuse me. If you bump into someone, or if you were to knock on someone's door, you would say, gomen nasai, saying, please excuse me. Do itashimashite. Do itashimashite means you're welcome. Do itashimashite. Konbanwa. Konbanwa means good evening. It's usually used in the late afternoon or once it's dark. Konbanwa. Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi nasai means good night in the sense of sleep well. Oyasumi nasai. Retsu o sukute. Retsu o sukute means line up. The sensei will tell you that in the class. Line up. Retsu o sukute. Sensei ni rei. Sensei ni rei. Bow to the instructor. Sensei ni rei. Daijoubu? You'll hear that when someone looks like they're hurt. It means, are you okay? Daijibu? Hai means yes. Hai. Yukkuri. Yukkuri. Slowly. When someone's going too fast in the training, say yukkuri. Chotto mate kudasai. Chotto mate kudasai. Just a moment, please. Chotto mate kudasai. Moichido kudasai. Moichido kudasai. One more time, please. Moichido kudasai. Ninpo ikan. Ninpo ikan. The spirit of the ninja is primary inspiration for us. Ninpo ikan. Hajime. Hajime means begin. Hajime. Yame. Yame means stop. Migi is to the right and hidari is left. Migi, right, hidari, left. Those are some common dojo phrases. There are many more Japanese phrases that are useful, but these will get you by in common dojo settings.
I study martial arts because there's physical reasons I study martial arts. Physical endurance and keeping in shape, that was important, and coming into it, that was the most important things. But as I've been here and doing this for a while, the physical things translate into mental things and having mental focus. The endurance, working on techniques for a long time, builds endurance in my mind, to be able to complete things, mental projects. They're not as different as I thought. The different things, I've learned a lot of spiritual things, a real spiritual connection with nature that was really important to me, is really important to me. I always loved nature and camping and going with my parents and things like that. But now with the ninjutsu and the ninpo, I can train out in nature more. And I love that. I love training in nature a lot. And it wasn't like that with the other martial arts I've done. I've done other ones, and this one was the best for me. Also, just being able to do things, complete things in my life and have mental focus. I didn't think that I could. I wanted to be a martial artist and live a martial arts life, but people would tell me that I couldn't, or that it wasn't realistic to be able to do what I wanted to do. I was working construction once, I remember, and I had someone tell me, you better stay working with me. I don't know. He was with me in my martial arts and doing martial arts, and he didn't think that I could do it for a living. And I'm glad to prove him wrong now, because I can. I can do what I want. I can do what I want. And that's something that I really learned, to be able to complete this. I got my black belt and completed that. That was something that's a big important thing in my life, to be able to complete that and finish that. The people that I've met, my teacher Richard Van Donk has helped me out so much in doing what I want with my life. I've been able to do what I want with my life. I remember once when I was first training, he wrote something for me that said, never be afraid to live the life that you love and love the life that you live. And that was a really important thing, and that was something that really helped me a lot in focusing my life and doing what I wanted to do, and having courage to be able to do that. So I did it, and that's it. So I can do it.